Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. Each week, my guest and I discuss one pivotal moment in their life, what they learned from it, and their words of wisdom. Maternity leave created a pause, a moment to reassess, to ask a hard question. What do I actually want my life to feel like at the end of the day? What started as a passion project, just 5 hours a week, became a process of career rediscovery, of listening inward. Passion became her internal compass, a way to evaluate decisions, block out the noise, and recognize a true whole body yes. Today, she helps others do the same. This is a conversation about choosing alignment, recognizing energy shifts, and finding peace. Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. I'm so grateful that you are here joining us today. Please welcome our guest who is Dr. Amanda Tobe. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Amanda. So she is an industrial organizational psychologist and the founder of a clinic offering career-focused psychological services. So Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on today.
So good. So this podcast is all focused on one question.
Yes.
Which is, what is one pivotal moment in your life? And the reason I chose that question was, one, we all have so many pivots in our life. Some are small, some are a little bit more imposing.
Right.
Some are in our control and some are not. My experience with pivotal moments has been that there can be moments, there can be times where it feels like you're the only person in the universe who's gone through this. And in actual fact, when I start talking about it, you realize, maybe I'm not the only one, and that there's an entire community of people out there who at least can empathize and who can support. And so I wanted to create this platform where people can come and tell their story.
Yes.
So people can not only learn about these incredible people, but also understand that they are, in fact, not alone during whatever life is throwing at them. So that's what we're doing here today.
Awesome.
So let me ask you, what is one pivotal moment in your life?
So the pivot I want to talk about today is a career pivot that I made in my early 30s. In fact, on the drive here to meet with you today, I had a call from a client, like someone I've never spoken to before, that said to me, like, I'm feeling stuck, and just reminded me of exactly why I'm actually here today. Because she talked about, like, I'm not going to get into all specifics, but mentioned that she was also on maternity leave herself. And that is a really important part of my story, is that I was actually fresh into having our second child, and really started to ask myself the questions around, like, am I really happy in my job? And started to feel kind of like that nudge of, is there more that's there for me? So what happened was, I spoke with one of my friends on this maternity leave about 2 months in. And she said to me that she had a new passion project that she was excited to share with me. And it was for like a Muslim women's collective, and she was going to help them with like career navigation and change.
Nice.
And I was like, a passion project? Like, that sounds so cool. I want a passion project. So like immediately I was really drawn to that word passion, and just feeling like, when I think about my life, I felt that I was void of passion. Like I felt like there was just like there's something there that was missing for me. And so this initial passion project question that came up turned into a bigger career exploration question, where I started to really think about, maybe it's not just a passion project. Maybe this is really about career rediscovery, and really starting to figure out again, like, maybe that this is more not just something I want to do on the side as like a passion, like something just for fun, but something I really wanted to think about going back to the drawing board when it came to my career. So what happened was that I ended up putting 5 hours a week towards this pivot of mine. And again, at the time, I would say that I wasn't convinced it was going to be a pivot.
Okay.
I was actually okay with deciding to come back to the same job again, like picking the job again. But I knew, Leslie, that if I was picking that same job again, that it was going to be from this place of like consciousness.
Okay.
And like it was a decision for me and by me, and like no one had made it for me. Whereas I think sometimes that happens in the corporate world where people are told like things that they're good at, or they see certain job prospects for themselves, and they kind of lose their own inner voice along the way. So I kind of also think about this time in my life. If I have to think about a word to really think about the time, it's like the word reclaim comes up for me.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's really it was about reclaiming some of the passion that was lost around reclaiming the decisions that I wasn't conscious of along the way, and my own inner voice again in that process. Yeah.
And so you're on mat leave, though, when all
Yes.
of this is happening. And so that 5 hours a week,
That's it.
that's incredible, actually. Finding 5 hours a week when you're on mat leave is actually quite a lot.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And then how did that transition into where you are now with this incredible business?
So during that time, with the 5 hours, I would put it towards like listening to podcasts and reflecting as I was listening to them. I would write down questions in certain books that I had at the time. And I would get up early sometimes before the kids were awake to journal. Sometimes it was after they were asleep at night. Typically it was like in the morning or late at night. I would talk to other people in my network, and either through phone calls or through coffee chats, and was really just a sponge and just meeting every single person that I spoke to. But one of the things that I did is I also created a spreadsheet of like all of these job possibilities. And I also had, along one of the axes, I had my career desires and deal breakers and values, and really just started to evaluate those different career possibilities against what I really wanted in my life. Now, there's one other important part to the story here. So my previous manager at the time, told me about Danielle Laporte's work. Do you know about her work, Core Desired Feelings?
Not nearly as much as you do.
Well, I actually don't know a ton about it either. I haven't done one of her actual programs.
Okay.
But what I'll tell you is that what I know about her work is that it's getting really clear on how you want to feel at the end of your day. Like when you think about a day and you think about, was today an amazing day? Or like you think about an amazing day you had, and you really think about what made today so amazing.
Right.
Right. And so she has like this list of like hundreds of words, okay? And the words like playful, can be restored, professional, whole, soul-fueled, bunch of words.
Wow.
And I went through this list. And so the first time you kind of go through the list, you just kind of identify all the words. And I kind of made up my own exercise, okay? So on the first time I went through the list, I identified all the words that just kind of jumped out at the page for me. Okay. The second pass through, you're kind of clustering words together, categorizing them, and like starting to look for themes.
Yes.
Okay. So my goal was to end up with like 3 to 5 words for myself, and then to pick my top word. And so going through this process, I go through, circle, cluster, all the things, and end up with my top 5, pick my top word. You might be able to guess what the word is. It's back to the word my friend mentioned when she shared with me on the phone call. It was passion.
Yes. Okay. That's so good.
So I did all this work. Anyways, it was a full circle moment for me. Passion. So, and again, part of Danielle Laporte's work is that when you decide on these words for how you want to feel in your day, it can become part of your internal compass.
Okay.
And so from that point, I was like, passion is my compass. Like passion is going to be how I decide what I want to do. So when I had this career spreadsheet of possibilities, there was like a month when I was contemplating building an app, and I was like, this is not like, and I had this cool idea, looked great on paper. Then I spoke with someone who actually had built an app.
Okay.
And I was like, I would hate this.
Yes. This is not speaking to me.
And it's not hitting the number one reason why I was in this in the first place. So it just really, it became something that was like a barometer, a litmus test, what else to call it. But it just became like this thing that it was like an easy check. Okay. It was just like an easy kind of coming back to like, how passionate would I feel about this job? So anyways, that's kind of that was my process.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
And so you then finish mat leave.
Yes.
And do you immediately leave your corporate job?
I did. So I ended up, I had a summer before the return, and ended up deciding to get my license then. So after So there's one other full circle moment, which I think is important in my story, which also brings me back to that same individual with the passion project. Okay. So what happened was she was starting to launch this collective and she was looking for speakers. And so
Oh.
I forget if I invited myself, which is possible, or if she invited me.
Okay.
But regardless, I was like, you know what? I would love to do a session for your group on public speaking anxiety.
Okay.
And the other important part of my story is that my background in my master's and PhD was on job interview anxiety.
Okay.
So I had this background on interview anxiety. And then I started to feel like, public speaking anxiety was just a natural progression from that area of work. So I think it's an important part because again, it's so neat that she's just part of this whole story the whole way through. And then what happened was I did this presentation for her collective the same day, the aha moment that we hear about sometimes in movies. I was very lucky, feel grateful for this. It was like a puzzle moment where all the puzzle pieces just came together. And it was just like you have your PhD in organizational psychology. You have a passion for public speaking anxiety. Why don't you open up a clinic to help people with public speaking anxiety?
Right.
And so the other thing too is whenever I talked about job interview anxiety, passed my litmus test, whenever I talked about job interview anxiety in like other interviews I would have myself, I always lit up when I talked about that research. Like whenever I talked about it, my eyes would light up. I would just like naturally notice like a shift in my energy. So I help people notice those shifts today. I help people like notice when like your eyes did this thing. Did you feel that? Did you notice when you're talking about this, like how everything changed in your body? So again, it was a really neat hit the boxes, passed the test for myself that I had set up. And really just, it was like a full body yes.
Yes.
And I really wanted a heart-based decision that made sense, obviously financially too.
Sure.
But and that's continues to be how I navigate like all of the decisions I've made in my practice. So my practice now, so it was initially a private practice aimed at helping people with public speaking anxiety. I had to do another pivot though, Leslie, because when I launched this practice, this thing called COVID.
Oh, yes, that thing.
So how much did you care about public speaking anxiety, or how much can you imagine people cared about it then?
Right.
It wasn't at the top of the list, right?
There was no conferences happening.
There was no
nothing.
conferences, and people were kind of relieved to some degree. Like some people, virtual speaking is still hard, but for the bulk of people, it just wasn't. We were trying to figure out how to do Zoom schools, and there was other like mental health kind of priorities.
Absolutely.
Right. So I had to go back to the drawing board again. And I was really starting to think about like, well, how else can I help people like, with my background and my degree? And so that's now why. So we also do career counseling within our practice.
Okay.
So public speaking, anxiety, and self-confidence, and then helping entrepreneurs as well with like goal setting and even the same fears that other people would experience, whether it's like fear of failure. And anyway, so just kind of, it's just again, there was like another a mini pivot that happened within that whole story.
Okay. So now you have a fulsome business.
Yes.
That it's not just you, correct? You now have a team that works with you. And where do you find like the biggest demand for your business? I mean, I do appreciate public speaking anxiety. Yes, I'm a keynote speaker and there is those nerves. I wouldn't call it anxiety necessarily for me, but where do you find the biggest demand for your services?
I would say it's pretty well 50% career counseling at the moment.
Okay.
So a lot of people with similar stories like I'm sharing today that are just like really unhappy, like really unsatisfied, and dealing with trauma from like organizations as well. Like whether it could be bullying, it could just be inflexibility with company policies. And they're seriously reevaluating their values and what they want with their careers and just wondering if there's more. Yes. And that's what I think the wonder, like that's what I love to help people with is that wonder, is that curiosity. Because I really believe that there's a few things I feel like when I reflect back to what I did well in that time, one of them is that I really focused on the why and the what first and figured out the how later.
Okay.
I didn't get stuck in thinking about, well, this isn't going to work right away. I mean, I think we can come up with so many different reasons why certain models or wouldn't work for somebody or hasn't worked for somebody else. But I really wanted to get really clear. It's like kind of Simon Sinek's work on like finding your why, right? Like
Finding
getting
your why.
really clear about that why and the what and like what I wanted to be doing. And then figuring out the how. Because what I see a lot in my practice are people that just dismiss ideas right away because they immediately go to like all the reasons why it's not going to work.
Right.
Right. When there's so many different business models. Like I have introverts that sometimes try to build their own business models off of an extrovert's work and how they've done it. I'm like, but you don't, and they get scared by that. I'm like, you don't have to do it that way.
No.
There's so many different ways to do this. Like I can already think about 5 different ways to do that. So that's really where I like to help people there. The second thing is that I really made the choice to pursue this whole process with like enjoyment and like positivity, because I think the career search process for a lot of people, it does generate a lot of anxiety.
Totally.
And so I really was like, if you're going to do this, like I made a commitment to myself, you're going to enjoy the process.
Okay.
And then the final thing I would say that I did really well is that I really made a choice to not share kind of all the parts of my process with everyone along the way. And what I mean by that is that I told people that I was on this journey to rediscover what I wanted to do, but I didn't say, here's what I'm thinking, or here's what I'm thinking here. It's almost like when you're naming a child. And then a lot of people will say, well, that name is actually a country, or that name actually reminds me of this person I know.
Yes.
And I really wanted to hear my own voice.
Okay.
And so I feel like that's really also that's the point that I really love to help people at, is also like trying to like remove the noise and to really think about for yourself, like what is it really that you want to do that lights you up? And if you could pick anything in this world. So like there's a bit of dreaming that we do.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. It is a little bit counterintuitive though, to just listen to yourself. Because at least I would say for me, it's when I have an idea, when I'm thinking about something, I do try to vocalize it so that I do get other people's opinions.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a blessing and a curse though. Because then there's some people that I was like, oh, well, that wasn't quite the reaction I was hoping for.
I think it's being really careful about who you let into the circle though. So it's about really, and it's almost, I do this also with clients of ours when they're starting any kind of therapy work. I always say to find someone to serve as your accountability buddy and to say exactly what you need from them. So I don't want you to ask me about this, or I do want you to ask me about that. So get really clear on what the supports are that you actually need, like the role that you actually want them to play. So you can say, I actually don't want you to tell me and evaluate whether I should be doing this or not. I want your feedback on this one part.
Okay.
So it's not that I wasn't like getting, obviously I was meeting with people, but in acting like a sponge to find out what they liked or didn't like, or how they were applying our work in their industry. But I wasn't seeking permission.
Right.
That's what it is.
That is exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big distinction, actually.
Yeah. So it's not that I wasn't like listening.
Yes.
I was actually listening a lot. It's just that I just had to be really clear on like this decision had to be for me, by me. And, And again, I was okay with picking the same career again, as long as I knew I was picking it, that it wasn't picking me or someone else didn't pick it for me.
Okay.
That, like I was actually in the driver's seat of that decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as you look back on when you made that decision not to go back.
Yeah.
And where you're at today, 100% right decision?
Best decision I've ever made from a career perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Like I often say, like, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. And like, that is just, it's such a blessing to feel like that. And I continue to use those philosophies, like the ones I've just talked about, and how I navigated that decision and how I navigate this still today in terms of, I'm always like, actually, I love being creative, and I love thinking about like new ways to help people and pushing boundaries and looking at new like evidence-based methodologies and technologies and all the things. I'm still so passionate and obsessed in many ways, which has, it's just been a real blessing for me to have that. It continues to shape how I make decisions today. If it has to be a whole body, yes.
Okay.
Still
Okay.
today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just curious with you were talking about the career focused
Yeah.
services
Yeah.
and career counseling and this that your clients are feeling a little bit lost.
Yeah.
Is it mostly women that you're serving?
No.
No.
No, it's really not.
Interesting.
So what's really neat about our demographic is that it pretty well is 50-50.
Okay.
And it's pretty well, the majority of people that we tend to work with, we do have some people in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of them are like 35 to 45.
Okay.
Sometimes even into their 50s. And even 60s in certain cases. But it's a lot of like second career folks. It's a
Okay.
lot of like, I've done this. I also get this too. Like I have one job left in me before I retire. And
Yes.
so I hear that a lot too.
So now what?
And
Right.
this is just what I want from that last kind of like run.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's really fun. I love
Okay.
helping people with that question.
Yes.
But yeah, so we do get pretty well. It's a mix. And so a lot of times they might have kids at home and they might
Okay.
have to evaluate finances too. It's not like it does take a lot to like, I'm not saying for everyone the answer is going out on your own. That for sure is
Right.
not the answer.
No. Yeah.
In fact, I'm really careful on when people kind of go into that as an option, there's many other options they can also use to kind of create some cushions or additional sources of income that
Yes.
I want to at least entertain and make sure that they're very conscious about that choice too.
Right.
It does take time. It takes time to
does.
build a company, right? So
It totally does.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And the only reason I ask about gender
Yeah.
is once again not because of bias, but just when you talk about trauma in the workplace, and maybe it's the people that I'm surrounding myself with these days, but it does feel like there's a general malaise and lack of enjoyment and engagement within the corporate world. And once again, it's probably because the people around me tend to be female,
Yes.
but have you noticed in your business that the volume of people that are coming in saying, this just isn't lighting my fire anymore is increasing?
I mean, I feel like even back in COVID, there was a certain percentage of our demographic. I would say probably those without kids around that time they had maybe more time to evaluate those questions. But we probably get 4 to 5 inquiries a day just on this alone.
Okay.
Just on this alone, just in Ontario, right? So this is like our practice is that's where we're based primarily, and the goal is to expand over time. But it is a big problem, and
Yes.
especially now we have entered in AI and like so many other
Right.
layers to this conversation,
Yes.
right? Like there's the job market right now in Ontario. There is AI concerns. So people. You can see I'm taking the deep breath too because I feel the tension for people. I feel the struggle. I feel I can appreciate it, and I always empathize with that. I'm not immune to it either, but I just we have all these other barriers or can be barriers to entry, and so some of them it's like we have to think about even if we're not thinking about 15, 20 years from now, like none of us really know that answer, right? I sometimes get asked that question in interviews too. And I'm like, I wish I had the crystal ball to tell you exactly what's going to happen and when. But does that mean I should stop what I'm doing? And just even in light of my recent health challenges too, like I haven't stopped what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
So I think that there's still flexibility. So recently, a few months ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and so I'm still in the thick of all of my treatments and figuring out treatment options. But it doesn't mean for myself, and it's again a personal choice. There's no judgment towards people that have taken a full pause, right? For me though, I think that it's been such a blessing that this work has like lit me up so much.
Okay.
I feel so grateful. Like I feel like this work is like giving me the energy to like to focus on things other than just the cancer, right?
Yes.
So I guess I'm bringing that part of the story because I think that having some flexibility in how you decide to make plans, even as with the COVID, part of the
Right.
story too, like you have these big plans and then things change, right? I think that that's just, we always have to be nimble and agile and open to change. And I feel
Right.
like that really is that one characteristic. I feel like I really try hard to help my clients see the benefit and value to being open. Some people naturally have it, others have to work harder for it. Some don't know or don't appreciate why it's important to have it. So, but it really is one of the secret ingredients, I feel like, to being able to navigate this whole process with less
Yes.
fear, because you just you there's an openness and like a certain level of trust that I've been able to develop, that like everything is going to be okay. And like when you
Yes.
have that, like I just know things are going to be okay,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's with my health or with my business. It just, yeah,
Yeah.
that is really, I think, one of my superpowers is
Yes.
that has allowed me to navigate this journey with sorry. Yeah, I'm just
It's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I feel that that has been the thing that has really allowed me to just keep forging through. And these are actually happy tears. Like
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be in this position, to have discovered, I think also in that career change and that career pivot, to learn how to trust myself was probably one of the greatest gifts that whole process could have taught me. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, though, to hear about your breast cancer.
Thank you.
And you would never know. You look fantastic. And I hope that the treatments and everything go the way that they're meant to go.
They will.
And
Yes.
only positive. And there's an energy about you that of positivity as well, and probably fueled by passion.
Still that passion thing.
That's
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
passion coming up. That
Yeah.
yes, I have nothing but positive thoughts of where the journey will take you.
Thank you.
And if you're okay,
Yes.
I'd like to just ask, as an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and oh yes, a mom of 3.
Yes.
So you're an Uber driver, and you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're and you've got all of
Yes.
these different roles, but you also have this really important business that you're running
Yeah.
that lights your fire.
Yes.
How do you navigate that
Mhm.
while navigating health?
I think I'm lucky in that in the fall, or actually in the summer, I really started to relook at all of our systems again,
Okay.
and really started to like think about how can we simplify things? How can we like build in more efficiency here? Where can I outsource some more?
Okay.
So I feel like that really started back in the fall and in the summer, and that really helped me to create resources and other people that can carry on, and that people that I trust that can kind of carry on even when they don't have every single answer back from me.
Okay.
And I feel like that has been a really big godsend for me, is to have this group of people that just know what their responsibilities are. They know what my vision is. So communicating that vision, I think, is also really important, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that getting really, really good at quarterly goal setting.
Okay.
So I have like a goal setting glass board in my office, and I have like our, the 5 to 7 goals for the year, and I have them broken down by quarter, and I know who's responsible for what. And guess what? I'm not responsible for every single thing
It's a beautiful
on that
thing.
glass board.
Right.
And I'm continuing to think about so I'm looking into like grants. I'm looking into like other sources of resourcing
Yes.
and support, so that it's not just me. But I think it's also like just knowing my limits and carving out time for myself. Just like I'm really good at like going into my calendar before the week as best as, again, sometimes like these curveballs come up, and
Yes.
the medical system has more control over my calendar than I like to give them right now. But
Yes.
sometimes it's happening.
Yes.
And that's okay. But I really sometimes I honestly, and then having a really amazing client. So like I had to cancel on a client, and it comes up sometimes like where I can't make it back in time.
Right.
But all of my clients know actually about my cancer diagnosis who
Okay.
sign on to work with me at this point. So they all know about it.
They know the deal.
So I feel like that's an important part
That
of this.
is.
So I'm very open. So back to the
Okay.
open word again. I think that being open, and I'm blessed with amazing clients. Like they're like, "How are you doing?" Like at every single session of theirs, asking me how I'm doing, and the focus is not on me, but I think it's just having being really honest about it and being open with people. Yeah, I think that has just turned into like a requirement almost in some ways.
Yes.
So because there's days when I work on my business and days when I work in my business. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday are days when I'm working with clients typically.
Okay.
Tuesdays and Fridays are for working on my business. So I've been really good about that. So
That's
I would say,
good.
yeah. It's
Okay,
good.
so when
I love it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So when you're working in your business, you're with clients. When you're working on your business, that's more your strategy, your future planning.
Exactly. All of it. Yeah. Like maybe like applying for a grant. So I submitted for an innovation challenge last Friday. Found out this week I got it. So I'm excited
Great.
about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like those are the things I'm doing.
Okay.
When I have that downtime, I go back to the glass board and go through it. And it's like a whiteboard for anyone listening. But it just I happen to have that in my office. And so I just find that, I just have to be strategic around using that time. And again, sometimes that time is not my own. And sometimes, the kids have tournaments and they have competitions. And and honestly, I'm here for all of that. Like that also it brings me a lot of joy to have built also a career that allows me to be at things like that. For me is really important. And the Uber driving is actually like my favorite time of the day with my kids.
It's a good one.
It's the time when I hear most about what's happening. That's when I hear about. So I value that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't outsource that one.
No, that's definitely not one to outsource.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for years, I was the Uber driver.
Yes.
Now it's different. Now it's more because my kids are older. It's hey, can you give me a lift to the bar? But can we pick up some of my mates along the way?
That's nice.
Which is actually just as good as driving to hockey practice. Just the conversations are different. But then I don't know, it's part of their life. You understand the language, you appreciate the friends. I don't know, Uber driving is probably one of my favorite things.
Right. And then you know about their friends and their lives. And my parents always knew exactly about what was happening in my friends' lives and still do.
Yes.
And it's nice. It's really nice. Like and now my friends are interested in my parents. So it's like, it's both ways. It's nice. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. It was always, we'd give the kids a lift and then come back and I'd tell my spouse, I'm like, oh, you got to hear this story that I heard in the car.
Yes.
Right?
So when you get the downloads.
Yeah. Get the downloads.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you have built a really fulsome life.
I feel that way. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so, I mean, I'm stuck a little bit on I'm working in my business and on my business. I love that. And by the way, I'm going to totally whiteboard that when I go back to my office.
Yeah.
Because I am forever trying to do a little bit of both at the same time. And it doesn't really work. But as you have gone through, I mean, an incredible story. What have you learned about? Part of it is you've done deep work on yourself.
I think that's.
And that has always been the starting point for you. And so now that you've done the deep work and you've got the business going and unfortunately have this cancer diagnosis, are there things that you're now pivoting that you are either leaning into more in what you've learned about yourself, or have things changed at all? If you were to do that exercise again, would it be the same?
I mean, I think the word passion is still that's still the key driver. I just think that there's just unfortunately other learning that I don't want to be doing right now that I have to
Yes.
be doing.
Okay.
So there's like maybe, which have been great. There's amazing breast cancer community support groups that I'm learning about. So
Okay, good.
I feel that my learning is still just about choosing. So for me, I think actually maybe the other word is another P word, and it's peace.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's like my ultimate goal in life is like I have the passion part down now. It's just this continued quest for peace. And
Yes.
just I think it's just yeah, even just saying the word. I feel like my body soften. I feel like
Definitely.
everything just kind of like drop in my body.
Yes.
And that goes for my kids, my daughters, and for my friends and everything. But I think that it's that's really what I'm driven to is to create like I have again the passion part down now.
Yes.
Continue to infuse my daily habits in a way that brings about and optimizes peace.
Yes.
I think is what it is.
Such a good word.
Yeah.
Love that. My last question for you is, what would be your words of wisdom for the audience after everything you've learned?
I feel there's so many things here. I'm going to try to summarize them. I think if you can learn how to trust yourself, now that's a big job. So I think it's noticing the patterns when you're seeking validation, when you're looking for people to approve those names and your decisions that you're making with regards to your career or your personal life. I think that really that skill really comes into play, whether that is again navigating a career decision or even in light of my recent cancer diagnosis. Like I would even say that from the get-go when I had the biopsy that was taken, I was just like, I forget exactly what the mantra was that I had in my head, but it was just something to do with like that nothing is going to take away your peace of mind. Like it was just that statement was just on replay in my head. Like nothing is going to take away your peace again. Peace
There we go.
But it was just like I was holding on to that, and I protect that. And part of me that peace word it does come back to trust and trusting the process, trusting my doctors, trusting my body to heal. And so I would say right now I'm putting a bit more time into journaling and writing about some of that stuff. And then I think as far as anyone else who's like listening who's finding themselves in that similar place as me, I think just like being open to possibility as much as possible to really learn to find tools to manage the fear, because fear really just robs you of creativity, I find.
Yes.
So the more that you can kind of build up tools, build up that inner circle of people that are going to be able to cheer you on in the way that you want to feel supported. And again, give them those tips around how you want to receive support.
Right.
Is really important. But yeah, I think that the word trust is an important one. Is like learning to trust that everything will be okay. And that is my other mantra that really is like the bigger compass also in my life is just like, I've always believed whether it's with public speaking, or career searching, like, so whether you're feeling nervous with public speaking or, navigating a career change or a health challenge, it's just like, I just know that everything will be okay. And like, again, it's the softening in the nervous system. Like that's really what I'm after. And that's hopefully a message that can help people who are listening.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You can literally feel your shoulders drop as you say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me on
for sharing your story. You're helping so many people overcome their anxiety, figure out their next steps, learn to trust themselves. And my whiteboard is going to get a bit of a workout this afternoon.
I love that.
Based on a lot of the insights from you. So I really appreciate that. And I wish you nothing but continued health and for a positive journey and back to health.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. Appreciate
you so much.
Thank you for joining me today. Before this conversation, I didn't know Amanda, and yet she has an energy about her that just draws you in. I love that she has built a life around passion and peace, and that despite serious recent health challenges, she embraces her life wholeheartedly. If this story resonated with you, please share it with someone you care about. And be sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear more pivotal stories involving one question, one turning point, one powerful story. I'll see you next week with another guest on the Leslie Hawkins Podcast.